Hey guys, so today we're doing something a little bit different. There is a really cool guy called Mugzy who lives on the Central Coast just north of Sydney in our area. And he has been connecting with me over the last couple months, sending me songs, really just connecting and making friends with me, which is really cool. But with our schedules being so crazy, we just have not been able to pin down a day where we can sit together and make a video. So what he did was he sat and he created a podcast audio bite for us. It's about half an hour in total, and at the end you'll get to hear one of his songs. He is a very interesting person. He has a real love for the hip hop music genre. And I listened to the whole podcast myself, and really interesting. If you're just, getting some stuff done, just leave it running, do some other work while you listen. So good just hearing a different perspective, hearing someone with a love of a niche music genre. So I'm pretty stoked. If you are watching, I'm going to get going with the audio. If you could comment down below and let me know that you can hear the audio, that will be great, just to make absolutely sure that you guys can hear everything. So I'm going to pop this onto the screen now, and then I'll get going with the audio.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's Mugzy, upcoming hip-hop artist from Sydney, Australia, of the land down under. And right now I'm going to do this kind of vlog interview video about myself, exactly the 5 elements, hip-hop kiddo Mugzy from Sydney of Australia, to tell a little bit about myself, how I got into hip-hop, how I escalated it and evolved myself into the man I am today, and just how basically hip-hop saved my life. And I'm thankful every day that I came in touch with this, in my sense, beautiful culture, because, like I always say, if somehow hip-hop didn't exist anymore, then you've lost me, my identity as a person. But yeah, I'm going to take you viewers and whoever's listening to this audio, a trip back into the past, 14 years ago, little Mugzy at the age of 14, an early teen of adolescence, and take you through the journey, maybe what I've done and, who I've become along the way, because I'm 28, going on to 2019 for 2020. But let's get involved with this, and hopefully you fans enjoy it, or whoever's listening to the audio takes something from it and enjoy, this audio as well. So let's rewind and take a trip back to the past when I was 14, the early thousands era. People say it was the platinum era because, a lot of the artists were wearing the platinum chains and the baggy clothes. And, we had the 3 horsemen at the time, which was Eminem and 50 Cent and Dr. Dre, which was like the pinnacle of its time. We had artists like Jay-Z and, Rockefeller and Damon Dash and Cameron and Beanie Siegel. We had, the South, which was Chameleon and Paul Wall with the mixtape game. Man, we had like the Diplomats. We had, man, so much talent coming out of the early thousands, man. But I remember, man, being sort of that teen, man, that was kind of an outsider starting off in my adolescence years, man. Had no identity, was sort of picked on a bit and, kind of bullied and, kind of messed around with a bit, man. And that sort of led me onto a path of depression and anxiety and doubting myself and just rolling with the wrong crowds, man, like just trying to find my identity, man, of like whoever was pushing me aside would give me that sort of chip on my shoulder mentality of, like, why is the world, like fooling around with me, man? Why is the world, hating on me, man? Like, is it because I'm an outsider? Maybe I'm not have the same opinions and goals or, the same outlooks on whoever was doing it around the time, man. And that really, they always say, man, when you're a teenager through high school, you really find what you want to be in your future, and carve you into the man or, the woman you are, or whatever the case may be, you are, later on in life to be. And if you don't get that starting off, that sort of push or that, I guess you can say, start with that, you're kind of on the back burn. You really fall into a deep, eternal, dark depression, man. And it's a scary thing because, like a lot of kids, they fall through the suicide routines, or they do something crazy, and there's no turning back from those paths, man. And I really ran into that sort of cycle of thinking negative, and thinking that the world was black, and and just dark, and not really appealing to me. And that's why I say the early thousands, man, was so powerful at that time, man, because like obviously we had the decades of the generations, man, but something about the early thousands, man, you could not run away from it, man, of hip hop. Like it was like the pinnacle of its marketing era. Like you had it in music, and clothing, and movies, and video games, and sporting athletes, and just everywhere you went, it screamed hip hop at the time. And I remember, man, being like having such a chip on my shoulder that I could sort of relate to these artists of having that expression and that pain through whatever they're going through, well, whatever their communities, or their societies, or their worlds like were sort of going through. They could take that negative influence and flip, they could not influence, but take that negative sort of outlook and flip it on its head and throw it into a positive outcome, man, which was rhythm and poetry, of the power of hip hop, and changing their messages through this art form and this culture of hip hop, man. And obviously, being a white boy, man, from the suburbs, Eminem was obviously the key at the time. Like, when 8 Mile dropped, I always say every white boy from the suburbs, man, wanted to be a rapper when that film dropped. And some, went down the Wigger path, man, like the whole Malibu's Most Wanna Be Rad. And then some really took the culture and really wanted to maybe sort of find their place in life through this culture and this art form. And I was one of those people, man. Like, I didn't want to see a therapist, man, or pop a pill to make me happy, man, because I knew that wouldn't have worked. I wanted to find an identity within myself, and because I had nothing of that, man. I had no interests. I had no self-well-being about myself, or self persona about myself, and maybe that was the reason why I got kicked down a lot. And when I came into hip hop, it gave me an identity, it gave me an art form, and a purpose and well-being in life. So, man, like at first, obviously Eminem, being a white boy in a black domain of culture, man, I guess you can say related to not just the inner white kids, but the suburban white kids like myself, man. And I really resonated with that anger and aggression he had in his, like the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show, and so on and so forth. But starting off, man, I was like, why not try and like write like a rhyme, or like write a rap? And my early days, man, were writing exactly how M used to write, like that real twisted, psychotic wordplay that he used to do, like the Slim Shady kind of vibe. And that was only therapeutic to get my anger out there, man. Like that was, that wasn't deliberately who I was. It was just more to get the anger out there. And I remember coming home from school, and these generational hip hop programs would come on, and it would show you the decades of the 70s, like the Boogie Down Bronx, Grandmaster Caz, Grandmaster Flash, Cool Herc, African Bambaataa, Melly Mel, and just the birth era. And it would have like the 80s, which was, LL Cool J, Eric B. and Rakim, Run DMC, and like KRS One, and Ice-T, and even like the likes of to whoever's listening to this audio, man, the first ever white artist, man, to come into the scene of hip hop. I'm not talking about Vanilla Ice. I'm not talking about the Beastie Boys. I'm talking about MC Search and Pete Nice from Third Base, man. Like, I mean, Third Base, man, to whoever's not listening to this audio, or maybe listening to it and being schooled with this historical of just what I've preached, man, you've just got the gas face, man, because you really got to learn about some white artists in the game, man. But MC Search, he doesn't get enough recognition of what he deserves, man. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Nas, we wouldn't have Illmatic, which is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, in my opinion. And Nas is definitely up there as a top MC, a top 5 MC to me, or to anyone that wants to do hip hop, man. So we got MC Search, and then we had the 90s, of course, which was the golden era, man. And I could flood a whole list, but people say the golden era because there was so much talent, and you had to have the bars, man. You had to have your messages, you had to have your lyricists, your punchlines up if you wanted to claim to be a rapper, or claim to even come into a cypher, or claim to even be hip-hop, man. See, like, that's why I say, man, with these kids now doing this mumble trap, man, if like you're back in the 90s, man, there was no way that shit would fly. Like, that would get swept under the rug ASAP, man. Like, and you'd be obliterated by incredible MCs, man. I could go down the list, like, Tupac, Biggie, that whole Death Row and Bad Boy movement, the West and East Coast. And then you had the West, which was like NWA, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg, man. And you had like, the Puerto Ricans, like Big L, like Big Pun. I was gonna say Big L, but he was a classic, man. Big L, Wu-Tang Clan, man, like Onyx, Naughty by Nature. I could go down a whole list, man. Cypress Hill, man. I mean, there was so much talent. And I'm not just talking about the real lyricists, dudes, man. We had party times, man. Like Fresh Prince and, Kid and Play and, man, like, TLC. Like, I'm even talking about R&B style that had like that tinge of hip hop to them, man. And to whoever's listening to this audio, man, I'm probably taking you back here through time, man, of these golden memories, man, of classic tracks that still hold up today. And then you obviously had the early thousands, which was the era that I mentioned. But I remember just being so mesmerized with this culture over the decades and the years, man, and wanting to be a part of it. Even though I was just starting off as 14, man, I wanted to be a part of this movement. Even though it started USA kind of based, that's the birthplace, man, is the New York style. And then, as America as a whole, man, to how it's become so universal. I wanted to be a part of that, but be gratefully respected as not just a white boy trying to rap, but as a prominent rapper or MC. And I remember seeing these OG pioneer fathers like, Karis One, Ice-T, or Chuck D from Public Enemy. And every time they'd be interviewed or, do like a little set before, their performance, man, they'd always preach that hip hop was brought up on authenticity and uniqueness. And, that's what the foundation and the flavor is of what makes this culture so great. Is like, you can have your influences in your idols and your, like your peers to sort of, I guess you can say, find your identity, and have them as kind of like a backbone to really carve your own craft. But if you're mimicking and only just doing what they're doing, and not finding your own passion, your own material, or your own message, you're really going to be frowned upon when it comes to the house of hip hop, man. Because you're not really finding your true calling. You're not, coming to the table with what you could do. You're only doing what they can do, And so that was really insightful to me at the age of 14. Because I mean, like at the age of 14, even to kids probably listening to this audio, man, yes, you are in that narcissistic mindset of materialistic things. You want the money, you want the fame, you want the girls, you want the car, the money, and like everything. And you don't really care about it as a culture. You just see what's cool and what's now and what's hip, But with me at that age, and I'm going to preach this to whoever's listening, it, something sparked my brain of when I see these pioneer fathers talk so much passion about this culture they created. It sent something to me to be like, that materialistic thing is cool, but to have a culture is an overall welcoming mat. Like it's an overall acceptance more than a cool thing to be. If you have more passion for the culture and what it's done so universally to just the materialistic things or the fashion and all that sort of jazz, you're more a prominent form in hip-hop compared to someone just rapping for that kind of garbage, man. And that really woke me up to be like, why don't I have a message and tell my story, you know? Like, and then my first album release, which was Ride or Die, and it was like, there was like a lot of tracks on there, like, you know, King of the Underground, Keep on Rapping, you know, No More Pain, and like all these, you know, inspirational tracks of how I was telling my story. Even though it was demo material, it was very rough. Like when I listen back to it, it is very, very rough material. Like it's almost cringeworthy, you know, to put it on. And sometimes my homies put it on to take the piss out of me. But I was just starting off, man, and it's you know, you hear my little, you know, teenage voice trying to rap along and trying to write my own rhymes and stuff. But it's you know, it's a learning curve, man. And I brought it out there in the MySpace days, and you know, people chewed it up, and you know, some people loved it, some people hated it, man. And I just kept grinding. You know, this is early days of social media or MySpace, like when you would have your little band profile, but you know, in the outside world, you would have to physically hand out, you know, hard copies, and like, you know, go to, you know, maybe youth centers and local DJs, and even maybe fake RDs to get into clubs, and man, just so they could play like your record, or house parties, man, and hand the local, you know, the local DJ your tape and get that weird look as like, who are you? I've never heard of you before. But you gotta, you know, talk a whole lot of game just to get, you know, your name played. And man, I did all that. I did all that with my rough demo of Ride or Die, man. And I look back at those times being so colorful, because you know, it was something that was fueling me, like knowing that I'm doing what probably my idols did before they were famous. Like they were just handing their rough demos out and doing the ciphers and doing the open mics and stuff, and just slowly building that recognition of being a rapper or being known as this culture of hip hop. And that fueled me to a point of just like, there's no turning back. Like when you hear those first people say, are you a rapper? Or are you doing hip hop now? Get, you know, spit a bar, spit, and then like their ears pick up or their eyes pick up, and they're just like, dude, this guy's got bars. It's that local little celebrity buzz of, man, I can't put the mic down. I got to keep writing, and I got to keep being insightful and know more about the culture that, you know, like I don't know about. And that's what led me on to my second album, which released in 2013, which was Understand Me. And Understand Me, man, was more an add-on to Ride or Die. Like Understand Me was, you know, the first album. Why don't I tell about my story and my inner self well-being? And then Understand Me is, look, I've got the power to do this. Why don't I tell about an overall atmospheric, you know, pride, like, you know, message is, whoever's listening to this album, maybe they can take something out of it that they're going through. Like, yeah, I can relate to Mugzy, or I've been through the same dramas and the same upbringings and the same, you know, obstacles. I've done the same things. So that was more the, you know, Ride or Die was more about me. Understand Me was more about what am I giving back to society, whoever's listening to my music. And a lot of chewing my ass right now of saying, you know, when are we going to get a third album? But you know, I've done so much, man. Like I've fallen into, you know, so many categories, which is, you know, music, acting, youth work, meet and greets with celebs I'll never see the light of day, you know, growing up and listening to their albums and somehow being in the same room as them and being in, you know, face to face and having a convo. Like never thought I'd see that as the light of day. And that's all just because of the power of hip hop and believing in myself and just giving this culture my all, you know. And I mean, I'm thankful along the way, because I mean, this stuff I never thought I'd see do. Like some of the things I'll mention is, you know, 2 albums, working on a third at the moment, you know, radio play, interviews, features, name drops worldwide across not just Australia, but across the land, you know, and across like USA, UK, Canada, Japan, like a whole ton. A documentary about me, like Sydney Film School here in Australia, like one of the biggest, did a documentary, like it came up, you know, where I live, did a 3-day doco to submit to the film festivals because they wanted to know about my career and what I do and how I embrace hip hop to the core. Like that's so unbelievable to me. And I mean, I've taught hip hop and taught music and, you know, programs to UNSW, which is University of New South Wales, one of the biggest universities here in New South Wales of Australia. And, you know, there was, you know, kids, I mean, you know, teenagers that somehow stumbled across my name and heard my name get around, and they're like, look, we love this Mugzy dude. Why doesn't he, do like little workshops with us, and let's see if we can like learn something about this and learn more about it. And I got the, potential to do that. And shout out to D2MG that, really got me on board with that. Did a few programs, and I know dudes, man, that studied their whole life to be, like in the profession of university or, to be lecturers and stuff. And man, I just fluked it. Like somehow I'm standing in a UNSW classroom and talking to like 30 students about this culture that I love. Like that's the power of like how hard I hustle, man. And I've done a whole bunch of other stuff, man. I wouldn't want to go down the list and bore the viewers, but I've done some pretty incredible things within my career, man. And I'm thankful along the way, because that's just how hard I grind and hustle, and the acknowledgement and achievements I get along the way. But I mean, when it comes to Australia, man, we have like a lot of love for the hip hop culture here. We, whatever, because it's such an Americanized thing. It was brought up in the USA, born in the USA, but it's become so universal. Like you got Japan with the DJ, the b-boying and the sneakers and the clothing. You got UK with the grime scene and the battle rap scene, and you got Australia that just takes a little bit of everything and like puts it in a pot and just assembles it into our own way. And we love it, man. We got the battle rap league over here is pretty gnarly, man. We've got pretty gnarly MCs that are coming up out of the game, man. We're not talking that Iggy Azalea bullshit. I'm not going to get into detail with it, but to real hip-hop heads know, she had a golden opportunity and she spat in our face with that female B-Rad wigger bullshit, man. So Iggy is not on our plate, man. You guys can have her. She's not even hip-hop, man. She's hip-hop. Exactly. Do you see my pronunciation? Not hip-hop, hip-hop, man. She's just a cornball, man. So, yeah. Not Iggy Azalea, so don't claim her to be Australian hip hop. We have real MCs down here in the land down under.
When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. Misery is how it started, no scenery or harvest. I always shed a tear of heartless. Pain became a darkness, hit me when I was 15. Had no future, had no dream, until everyone pushed me in between. That hip-hop, yeah, was my scene. I found something to find myself, to get me out of this live in hell. I got back up, come on, when I fell, and said the truth on what I had to tell. A new man with discipline, when the culture had witnessed my sins, I felt that I had to shine within, show the world that I was ready to begin. Almost about to be given in, until hip-hop gave me a new beginning. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. Drop down rhymes but needed material, started writing songs and hit the studio. Shalom City was so surreal, felt like a proposition on what they feel. Over a 2-year period I made Ride or Die. When it came out I thought the gangster style was my life. Now looking back I'm ashamed, should've thought twice. Just want to live like the odds in my mind. Guess it made me walk more around like a joke. Even when I got that fake respect I lied, kill my hopes. Time to go back to the wreck and suicide notes. I was alone again and I couldn't cope, in an atmosphere full of pain, while I was trying to make a difference in my place. Seemed like a disgrace, people trying to kill my fate, all because I don't appeal to your taste. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. But no, after all, hip-hop had my mindset. I learned more about the culture to build my rep. The founding fathers, the 4 elements to take me further. First you got rap, then you got DJ, broken with the B-boys, graffiti on the freeway. I started meeting groups who love the culture, share history, build connects and got bolder. We all have different journeys, and as a follower, I believe that as times get older, we roll as one, all together. Nothing will ever separate us, never. Started to become a smarter MC, quit hiding cause the pain in my words set me free. And I became stronger, no one could touch me, as I was building the name Mugzy. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm worthy. Growing up on the hip-hop music, just breathing that air for something to use it. It's amazing how these people look at you different, because you're not the same, man, it's just so infant. What do you want me to be, just like you? Nah, 1 plus 1 for me doesn't equal 2. How is it when this world works? But these people don't pull you in, so all it does is hurt. No respect and no love. There will never be a change when these people will all rise above. It's a democracy, so approximately my rage will burst out, and all you have to do is just stop with me. Increase the peace at least for once, so we can breathe it out. Oh yeah, getting teased, cause right now we are all crying in the rain, ripping our hair out, going insane, yeah. You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Comprehend me, yeah, come on.
You don't understand me.
You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Now I'm gonna be talking about myself, a lonely wolf, and you're all the wealth. Pointing the finger is like pulling a trigger, blow my brains out. When you call me wigger, you go bigger. F you to the pussy, see the baggy jeans and chains that label me like I'm some kind of Barney. See, why? Because my skin is white and not black. It's the love for hip-hop, not to be labeled as that. It's a disappointment for your enjoyment as a joke. I feel like grabbing my hands around your throat to choke. I know it's scary, but that's the very thing I'm intent to do. If it comes to that, man, there's no stopping me to you. We all go a little mad sometimes, maybe because all the haters know how to push all the bad lines. Why? Because they just don't like who we are. So what? We are fine to become an inner star, yeah.
You don't understand me.
You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Comprehend me, yeah, come on.
You don't understand me.
You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Why is it when these people say respect all, but they turn into two faces walking down the dark hall? It's because they don't have a change of heart. All they love to do is rip people apart. Dissing is the mission, given their suicidal ignition. A thumbs up for the people to be witnessing. Trust me, I know, I've been through that horror show. Saw the light and thought it was a no-go. But to top it all up, just be yourself underneath. Just look up to the skies and think about the peace, at least, because we are that beautiful person. Just to be earning what we are deserving. A little respect, is that too much for the sake of it? And to be awakening from it? No, because we've got something to prove. Coming together as a culture, we have nothing to lose. Yeah.
You don't understand me.
You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Comprehend me, yeah, come on.
You don't understand me.
You don't understand me.
But if the feeling was right, you might comprehend me.
Comprehend me, yeah, come on.
And I don't claim to understand you, but I've been looking around and I haven't found anybody like you.
Thanks for joining us today for another one of my videos, guys. If you would like to see more of my content, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help. Just click that little notification bell and you'll be notified whenever I do post anything. And if you're on Facebook and you see a post that is letting you know of a future video that's coming up, just click on the small little button with a star on it that says Get Reminder, and then you don't have to think about it. You will get a reminder when we're going to go live. Join us without worrying about it. Enjoy your time with us. All right, guys, have an amazing day, and I will see you when I see you.